The Chapter 4 ARG is officially over, with one final update giving us some new photos and lore teasers hiding some secrets, including possibly another new character, along with some exclusive new updates from the developers about upcoming teasers and news coming soon, and even stuff about a Chapter 5 ARG already that you definitely don't want to miss. So the other night, out of nowhere, when going onto the main ARG website, centraldomainaccess.net, suddenly everything about the site seemed to have been deactivated. The audio was completely removed, all of the puzzles stopped working, and typing on the computer, no matter what you said, responded with connection terminated, seeming like the computer website was fully shut down. However, you might have already noticed it, but on the top right here, we can see a couple of different Google Drive links strung together, which when searching up, give us two brand new teasers. First, there is this one showing an unreadable glitched out photo where in it we can see what appears to be a faint eye up here and a word saying "were" here, which will matter in a second. Another interesting thing is you can convert this message into a text file, which when reading hides a secret message saying "with regards Sawyer," suggesting whatever this image is, it's coming from Harley Sawyer to us. But also over on the second Google Drive link, we are actually given an MP3 file called "recording," which when playing at first seems meaningless as it just plays an audio recording of the phone call conversation from the last ARG update of employees Elliot Ludwig, Stella Graber, and Eddie Ritterman discussing some kind of incident that made them furious before they learned that Harley Sawyer was the one responsible for it, which is believed to be referencing the theater incident we learned about in previous updates. However, what's different about this call audio is at the beginning and throughout the whole incident, we hear what sounds like somebody sitting down and nervously shifting throughout their chair.
You know why we're all here.
Then at the end, we hear this super obnoxious loud noise. Now, first regarding the chair sound, since obviously we were able to access this audio of the higher-up employees, this implies there had to be somebody in the room actively recording the conversation, and in this tape, the audio we are hearing sounds like it is somebody sitting down and listening to said conversation, who, judged from all of the nervous shifting, is likely somebody like Harley Sawyer himself, since he saw in this call that all of the higher-up employees were literally threatening violence against him for causing this incident, and it likely intimidated him, which is interesting because we've sort of been learning throughout this entire ARG that the employees didn't really like Harley all that much, just like everybody and every bigger buddy, and it makes you wonder how Sawyer might have reacted to seeing this information, assuming it's him. But most importantly with this audio, there's this high-pitched sound at the end, and if you followed this ARG and others in the past, you probably recognize this as a spectrogram encryption, where we could take this audio and visualize it using a spectrogram, of course, and could see clearly there is some kind of hidden message hiding right here at the end. The only issue is it's super blurry, and no matter what kind of settings or filters you put over the audio, this is still really hard to read. So after literally hours of people trying to decipher what this message is trying to tell us, they eventually discovered this message here isn't actually in English or anything like that, but rather is in Greek that spells out this sentence through the Greek alphabet, which we can naturally put through translating software to give us a hidden message. Now, this part is a bit weird because the translation you get depends wildly on the site you use. Google's base site gives us some gibberish, Google Translate's independent site gives us the father of the child, and DeepL gives us the baptism of fire. So there's a multitude of different messages depending on what you look at. I'm not sure if any of these are correct or if the Greek text here is even accurate, but I thought at least I'd point it out, although definitely take it with a major grain of salt because we have no confirmation which, if any of these are correct and what they'd even mean anyway. But moving on from the audio, as for the first teaser, the same person who found the Pianosaurus outline from this previous image by editing the hex code to remove the glitchiness Drigel, saw this teaser had a very similar glitchy top layer, and after again editing the hex code a bit, he gave us this image showing the silhouette of some kind of spiked object object, an eyeball symbol here, which we've seen multiple times throughout trailers and ARG clues now, and a message saying you were warned, which is super cryptic. We also, with a bit more editing, have gotten a slightly fully finished version of this render as well, giving us a better look at the full image. Now, obviously, the main focal point of the photo is this weird object on the left, but what could this even be? I've seen some people think maybe it's Pianosaurus, who has slightly similar points here, although I highly doubt this in my opinion. They look basically completely different. I've also seen other theories of people thinking this could be the unrevealed Jester character or a first look at the full prototype body, while some are also saying this could be another new character that we haven't ever seen before, because recently they've been dropping character reveals on us like crazy. So I guess what's another one? It looks like it could maybe be the back or side of some kind of unseen monster, assuming this is true, but I personally, in my opinion, doubt both of these claims, and to me this actually looks like it could be some kind of a machine. In my opinion, the thing in the image looks super mechanical and not organic. It doesn't really look like anything we've seen from the monsters before, but to be honest, I'm not really sure. It's really just too cryptic for me to make any solid judgments. However, what I am sure of is after solving all of these puzzles, one of the developers sent us a message congratulating everybody, saying, "Thank you guys for playing. That was so much fun. We can't wait for you all to see the rest of what's to come as we ramp up to launch." Confirming this is actually the very end of the ARG and there is no more for us to discover. Now, this was obviously a big shock to everyone because this kind of came out of nowhere, but the dev Anthony went more in depth on the ending and the future of Chapter 4 in other messages, like when Dridgel here expressed worries about Chapter 4 being multiple months away with us getting no new info. He said, "Don't worry, haha, we aren't just going to be radio silent until release, it's just the end of the ARG." And when someone replied to that saying, "So y'all got more stuff in store up until the release?" he again messaged, "Of course we do, haha, smiley face. You'll just have to wait and see." Now, I don't know if Anthony here is just referencing upcoming trailers, because we obviously know we're going to get trailers in the future. The game isn't just going to shadow drop, or if there are going to be more kinds of teasers in the future, but that's a very interesting update. Although this is kind of weird and bittersweet, because while this ARG in my opinion was the best one yet, they mentioned wanting it to be more collaborative and interactive, which it definitely was. This ending was super weird because it just came out of nowhere. Usually there's a big reveal or something at the end, like a trailer or VHS, but this time we literally got none of that. We never got answers or really even hints on the theater incident or any of the other documents and mysteries we were hoping to get answered in the ARG, which is maybe a good thing because it means, unlike the Chapter 3 one where we already knew most of the lore about Playcare and its cult going into the chapters since they revealed a big chunk of it in the ARG, this time it seems we'll get answers in the actual game, but people were still pretty disappointed with this news because it was super abrupt and didn't really end in anything massive. But if you can't afford to wait, before shutting the website down, they also gave us some updates on the Chapter 5 ARG as well. I'm not joking. As in reflection, first off, regarding the ARG update where we had to dig through the big maze to find numbers and build the phone number, people complained it was way too hard, which the devs responded to saying, "Sorry if it was a bit frustrating, y'all, trying to crank up the dial, but we may have gone a little too abstract. Good learning opportunity, hopefully y'all still enjoyed it," which likely means future ARGs will be a bit easier than what we saw there. And fast forward back to today, somebody said in the Discord, "Dude, imagine the next ARG though," since the devs have been super adamant on making each ARG bigger than the last one, which they responded to with, "We already are," meaning they are already planning Chapter 5's ARG. So if you guys are already ready for another one, this basically confirms there will be one and that they are already actively planning. But this was a super fun ARG. Shout out to everybody who stuck around and watched them through my videos. It means the world. And make sure to subscribe because even though this is the end of the ARG, this is simply the start of Chapter 4's full release.